Commander Zaravex of the Galactic Coalition adjusted her bioluminescent scales as she studied the armored figure across the interrogation chamber. The human sat motionless, encased in what appeared to be primitive metallic plating compared to the sleek energy weave armor worn by every other species in the galaxy. His helmet revealed no facial features, no indication of the creature beneath. For 3 cycles, this lone human had held off an entire Kryllian assault fleet single-handedly. The footage still made Coalition analysts dizzy with confusion. Ships that could level planets, reduced to drifting scrap by one being in outdated armor. "You intrigue me, human," Zaravex said, her voice carrying the melodic undertones of her species. "Your kind joined the Coalition only recently, yet you demonstrate capabilities that surpass our most advanced warriors." The human's helmet turned slightly toward her, but he remained silent. "My databases indicate humans require atmospheric processors to survive on most worlds, yet you fought in the vacuum of space for 18 hours straight. My scientists theorize your armor contains remarkable life support systems." Still no response. Zaravex leaned forward, her curiosity overriding diplomatic protocol. Her species, the Therians, were known throughout the galaxy for their insatiable need to understand everything around them. It had made them excellent scientists and terrible warriors. "Are you curious about what's under this armor?" she asked, gesturing to her own bioluminescent exoskeleton that pulsed with soft blue light. "Our armor is grown from our own genetic material, shaped by centuries of evolution. It responds to our emotions, amplifies our natural abilities." The human's posture shifted slightly. For the first time, he spoke. "No," came the gravelly voice through the helmet speakers. "I'm not curious about your armor." "Then perhaps, Zaravex," pressed, her scientific mind racing, "you would satisfy my curiosity. What lies beneath that primitive shell of yours? What modifications have your people made to create such a warrior?" The silence stretched for long moments. When the human finally moved, it was to reach up and disengage the seals of his helmet with a series of soft hisses. Zaravex held her breath, expecting to see some fearsome predator species, perhaps cybernetic enhancements or genetic modifications. That would explain the impossible feat she had witnessed. The helmet came away to reveal the face of a middle-aged human male. Graying hair, weathered skin marked with small scars, tired brown eyes. He looked ordinary, disappointingly ordinary. "This is what's under the armor," he said simply. Zaravex blinked her large, multifaceted eyes in confusion. "But how? Your performance against the Kryllians was impossible for any baseline species. What enhancements do you possess? What technology augments your biology?" The human she now saw his identification badge read Marcus Chun, Engineering Corps, set his helmet down and rubbed his temples. "None," he said. "This is standard Coalition issue armor, nothing special. Same atmospheric recyclers, same basic shielding that any species uses." "That's impossible," Zaravex insisted, her scales shifting to an agitated purple. "The Kryllians had dreadnought-class vessels. Their weapons can crack moons. No baseline organic could." "Ma'am," Marcus interrupted. Gently, with respect, "I think you're asking the wrong question." "What do you mean?" Marcus leaned back in his chair, and Zaravex was struck by how small he seemed without the armor's bulk. Yet something in his eyes, a depth she hadn't expected, made her scales tingle with recognition. "You keep asking what's under the armor, like it's hiding some secret weapon. But the armor isn't what won that battle. Then what did?" Marcus was quiet for a moment, staring at his hands. When he looked up, his expression was somber. "Do you know what happened to Earth before we joined the Coalition?" Zaravex accessed her files quickly. "Environmental collapse. Your species nearly drove itself extinct through warfare and resource depletion. We lost 8 billion people," Marcus said quietly. "In 50 years, we went from 12 billion to 4 billion. Not from war, though there was plenty of that, but from starvation, disease, displacement. every family lost someone. Everyone. Zarovex's scales shifted to a deeper blue, the Therian equivalent of respectful attention. My daughter was 6 when the water wars started, Marcus continued. She didn't make it to 7. My wife died in the famine that followed. Most of my friends, my brothers, my parents gone. I'm sorry for your loss, Zarovex said, though the words felt inadequate. Marcus nodded acknowledgement. We survivors. We learned something that I don't think any other species in the Coalition has had to learn. We learned what it means when everything you love is already gone, and you have to keep fighting anyway. The chamber fell silent except for the soft hum of life support systems. When I saw those Krillian ships moving toward the colony station, Marcus said, I saw 12,000 civilians who reminded me of everyone I'd already failed to save. The armor didn't make me stronger, Commander. The knowledge that I couldn't bear to fail again, that's what you saw out there. Zarovex felt her scales pale to almost white. In theory and culture, that was a sign of profound realization. You're saying that humans fight harder because you've already lost everything? Not everything, Marcus corrected. We fight harder because we know exactly what losing everything costs. And we've decided that whatever the price of preventing that loss, we'll pay it. He picked up his helmet, running his fingers along its worn surface. This armor doesn't make me superhuman. But knowing that I'd rather die than watch another child starve, another family torn apart, another home destroyed, that knowledge changes what's possible. Zarovex stared at this unremarkable human with new understanding. The Coalition databases were full of species that had evolved superior strength, advanced technology, enhanced mental capabilities. But none had evolved the particular kind of strength that came from losing everything and choosing to continue fighting anyway. Your species terrifies the Krillians now, she said quietly. Marcus stood, beginning to don his helmet again. They should be terrified. Not because we're stronger or smarter or better armed than anyone else. The helmet sealed with its familiar hiss, and his voice returned to its mechanical tone. They should be terrified because we're the species that's already been through hell, and we came out the other side still willing to fight for strangers. As Marcus walked toward the chamber's exit, Zarovex realized that for the first time in her scientific career, she had encountered something she didn't want to understand better. The answer to what lay beneath human armor was too frightening. To contemplate it was hope, forged in the crucible of ultimate loss.